just in terms of what we wear, but also how we think. Look at the wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Libya, Syria. We actually pick our ideas about what's happening in these conflicts in the same way that we pick our clothes, conforming to the dominant narrative of the society. We have certain buzzwords that as soon as we mention these names, Westerners, predominantly white Westerners, react negatively to these buzzwords. Let me give you some of these buzzwords and think about what comes to mind. When I say to you, Saddam Hussein, oh my God. When I say to you, Robert Mugabe. When I say to you, Ahmadinejad. When I say Osama bin Laden, where is he? I'm saying to you, when we mention these names, it triggers something in you, primarily because the mainstream media feeds you with an idea and a concept about what's happening in these parts of the world. But you would never think the same way when I say Barrack Obama. Sorry. Tony Blair. No! Yet look at Barack Obama. Barack Obama has killed more people than Osama bin Laden. Barack Obama is a terrorist. Barack Obama is a butcher. Barack Obama is a murderer. Just yesterday, they killed 2 people in Yemen. 2. Yet, look at how the Western media frames the deaths of these people who will never have a name. We will never know who they are. We will never know what they're responsible for. All they do is they'll tell us that 2 suspected militants. That's all they need. 2 suspected militants, and you ask no more questions about the bullshit that's going down. They drop a bomb in Pakistan, killing 37 villagers, and the Western media says they were attacking suspected militants. They drop bombs in Afghanistan across the country, killing thousands of innocent civilians, looking for suspected militants. Look at the propaganda. Look how many people have been killed. Barack Obama uses drones. During the presidential tenure of George Bush authorized the use of drones 52 times in Pakistan. 52 times. That was George Bush in 8 years of office. And even then, everyone was against George Bush. Barack Obama has used drones over 350 times in Pakistan. Almost 7 times the amount of George Bush. Yet no one says a word about Barack Obama because we have a black man in the White House who none of you motherfuckers will criticize. You're terrified to criticize Barack Obama. The white liberal left are just happy that it seems that there's progress in America. And these black African Americans are so damn stupid that they daren't question Barack Obama because they love the idea of having a black man in the White House. There ain't no black man in the White House. There's a corporate gangster in the White House. It doesn't matter whether you are black or white in the White House, the corporate agenda will be the same. We are all the same people, regardless of sex, race, creed, color, sexual orientation, political persuasion, religious denomination. You in the West, you want the world to cry, to mourn, to shed tears for 3 million people who lost their lives in the World Trade Center. That was an act of terrorism that should be condemned. Whoever did it, that is an act of terrorism that should be condemned. But let our condemnation be consistent. If we condemn whoever blew up the World Trade Center killing 3,000 civilians, we must also condemn those American presidents, those European presidents who dropped bombs in Iraq, killing hundreds of thousands of innocent people and children. We must condemn those Western terrorists who dropped bombs in Somalia, Yemen, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and right across the globe. America has built 35 new military bases in Africa. Let me say this without any hesitation. The United Snakes of America are the greatest terrorist threat to world stability that we have today. And until you Europeans recognize that, we will never move forward. You scratch your head and say, oh, look, there's an Islamic attack, terrorist attack in our countries. You've got off lightly. You've got away very lightly. Muslims have acted with restraint. Look at the number of attacks there have been across the West. They're primarily carried out by disaffected young people who haven't got a clue what they're doing. They buy fertilizer, they buy a ton of fertilizer on their credit card. They're stupid. They haven't got a clue. They're just young, misdirected, misguided people who are angry at seeing the crimes being committed in Muslim countries. Yet, you Europeans, how often do you condemn Barrack Obama for his crimes? Just yesterday, he killed Muslims again. Was it on the BBC? No. Did Sky News show it? No. Did CNN report on it? No. You bunch of greasy-fingered, warmongering barbarians. You say nothing. Yet, as soon as a bomb goes off in your country, you want the world to hug you. You want the world to mourn with you. Look at these Muslim women beside you. Look at them. Aren't they human beings too? But as soon as you show victims dressed like that, your sympathy vanishes. Look how many people you kill. When they killed on the 7th of July, when 52 people were killed during the train and bus bombing. The Western papers put the faces of all 52 victims on the front page. They gave you names. They gave you ages. They gave you occupations so you could empathize with the victims. In the inside of the papers, you could read testimonies from mothers, daughters, uncles, employees, fiancés, children. You read it, oh, they were such a nice person. We don't know. They solicit humanity. They solicit a human interest in these stories. When a British soldier dies, they tell you his name, his rank, the regiment he was part of. They give you an interview with his wife. They humanize the victims. Yet, look how many Muslims have been butchered, have been murdered, have been assassinated by Western terrorists calling themselves Barrack Obama and David Cameron and Sarkozy and all these other devils. And when they kill Muslims, never once do the Western media give you a name. Never once do they give you an age, an occupation. Not once does that media prostitute John Simpson go out from the BBC and film the funerals. Never once do they humanize the victims of Western terrorism, Western aggression. And then you wonder why Muslims are angry. Look at how you frame terrorism now, you bunch of devils. Look at it. As soon as we mention the word terrorist, you think Muslim. As soon as we say terrorist, you automatically assume Muslim. And when they give you the name, you think, ah, he must be guilty. It doesn't even matter whether they are guilty or not. As long as they have a Muslim sounding name, you're a terrorist. Hands up if you're a Muslim. What's your name, brother? Ali. Sorry? Ali. Ali what? Ali Makbi. Terrorist. Name, brother?
Yunus Hajjaj.
Yunus Assad. Sounds like you planted a bomb last week. Abdullah Tamimi. You sound like Osama bin Laden's Minister of Affairs. As long as you have Muslim names, you automatically sound like a terrorist. But if they said, oh, a bomb was planted last week by Mark Johnson, you think, oh, what's happened there? What's Mark got to do with this? You start probing. Look at how propaganda works. Look at how you've been deceived. I don't blame you Europeans. I blame the state. You're not the only ones. We're all in this together. Oppression and wickedness isn't a white thing. It is a human thing. And we all have a responsibility to stand up and fight against it. And that's what we are not doing. Why? Because the Western machine, the contemporary society, postmodern society we live in, when we reach the arc of where we can go, they deprogram you. They now give you all the technology you need to lose yourselves in this narcissistic space of nothingness. Nothingness. You have all the tools for revolution at your fingertips. Yet what do you do with it? Nothing. You have all the tools of revolution, modern revolution, at your fingertips. They give you Facebook. MySpace, Twitter, YouTube. You're a broadcaster when you have YouTube. You're like the BBC with YouTube. You're like a PhD when you have Google. You have Facebook. It's like having an AK-47 in your arms. But what do you do with your AK-47? You post bullshit messages. Hello, how you doing? What are you up to tonight, babes? Oh, nothing, hon. Send. Oh, last night I had a whiskey and coke. It was wicked. Send. Oh, 10 people telling you motherfuckers come back. I like that. Nonsense conversations you're having. They sell narcissism in every facet of the system. Sorry, madam. They can stop it. Who? She says they can. She says they can stop it. Who's they? Madam, who's they? How can all the people stop it when the people are brainwashed? How? How? When you live in ignorance, madam, how do you stop that? We live in so many of these isolated spaces. Someone who's a racist, they actually believe that other people or other races are inferior to them. So when you come to them with a logical argument, it is not necessarily logical to them. Only when they, through their own personal experience, reach a space of maturity to see that their former ideology or belief is wrong, that is when we have change, individual change. Don't talk about they, because they are the victims of this mass psychosis. We talk about Facebook, madam. We talk about narcissism. We talk about celebrity reality television. We talk about celebrity programs, celebrity booking. All of these things are designed to trap the young people, to trap the society. Are you aware that in the 1980s, the majority of Americans saved 12% of their income? Now, under 35s in America spend 16% more than their income. Why is that? Because of consumerism. They are taught to buy in every facet of society. Madam, we all cannot stop this. Only as individuals when we arrive. So madam, that's why I'm here. Only when we arrive at a space, an individual space. Only when we arrive at an individual space. Madam, you look at the majority of people, young people. What do we have? In every facet, the capitalist machine has cornered the entire market. We have black musicians, hip-hop artists, like Jay-Z, Puff Daddy, Snoop Dogg. What do you think they're doing? They're no longer answering to the sort of common social messages of hip-hop. They're now selling consumerism. When you have these musicians talking about, look at my diamond chain, look at my teeth, I spent $100,000 on these teeth. I just shot a nigga, I just killed a nigga. Oh, you women are bitches and hoes. It's not by accident, it is by design. They would never allow a white musician to make such music. Madame, look at the narcissistic nature. They feed into narcissism. We have all of these gossip magazines. We have Hello, OK, Now, Cosmopolitan, all of these gossip magazines. What are these gossip magazines selling? They're selling a lifestyle which is beyond the reach of the ordinary rank and file. Madame, your family, would you describe your family as working class or middle class? Or upper middle class? Middle class. What do your parents do? Your mother is a writer and your father is a... Madame, we're in a discussion at the moment. Your mother's a writer and your father is a... Your father works for TV. What do you want to do when you get older? Sorry? Be a musician. What type of musician? Listen to it. Listen to it. She comes from a middle class family, and what does she say she wants to do? Be a musician. I asked you what type of musician? I don't know. Because the polls that were recently done have determined, when they asked the cross-section of youth across America, 45% of them said they want to be famous. When asked, what do you want to be famous for? They said they don't know and they don't care. Madam, I'm not saying that. Musicians are in the public arena. What I'm saying to you is the narcissism, the narcissism that is sold throughout society. In these gossip column magazines, they show you